Well, good afternoon, Darian. We have been having the most outlandish conversation today about co-op numbers. Did you have one when you were living here in Saskatchewan? Do you remember it?
I'm not too familiar with that, I don't think. What exactly is it?
It's a way to get back equity with co-op. So you have a number anytime that you go into a co-op store, and then, it tallies up how much you...
Yeah, we use it here, so every time that we went and bought a box of Darios, then when we'd get like a couple of cents back, it was awesome.
Yeah, actually, then we still have the Darios up on the shelf here.
Well, they're not worth anything, so I'm not worried about it.
I mean, next time you're in town, you can try one if you want.
Hey, it sounds interesting. I'll definitely look into it.
He's like,
that's like there's not a chance.
Not a hope in hell. Yeah. But Darian, there's lots to talk about here in Rider Nation. Appreciate this as always. We got to start right off the top. News this morning comes through. Everyone's excited. I bet you've got to be a little excited because you kind of called this a couple weeks back when I asked you who should the Riders focus on signing next, and you said Tevaughn Campbell. Well, they did that today.
Absolutely. I felt like this was the number one priority defensively, is to get him back in the fold. I mean, top of the league in interceptions. He's a veteran guy, and you need these type of corners in this league, man. It's hard for young guys to come in and have that type of success at corner. You have to read routes. It's extra receivers. There's waggles. There's different things that you have to get used to as a new guy. And Tevaughn's seen it all. He's such a wily vet. He knows exactly what's going on, and you have to have that kind of security at corner in order to have success. So big signing for the Riders and J.O. getting him back in the fold.
And I don't know if J.O. was listening to the show or not, because you were talking about focusing on the defensive side of the ball. They also signed Jameer Thurman today.
Oh, yeah, he's the rock. He has shown each and every year what he can do. He's the leader of that defense. He doesn't seem to be aging at all. And if you just look at his physique, he just seems to take care of himself and care about each and every game, each and every day that he prepares. So definitely another great signing for the squad. And, look, man, when you're trying to repeat, you want to keep as many pieces of the puzzle together as possible. And J.O.'s doing a good job of that so far.
Now, if my math is correct, and I've already been called on it today, Darian, so maybe we won't trust this, but you and Tevaughn Campbell crossed paths in your playing days, as he was with Calgary, of course, and you played against him, but then he joined you in Montreal. Like, is it surprising to you that he's still going?
Not at all. I mean, I think I've said it maybe a couple months ago. You're a 4.3. If you have that type of speed in the 40 when you're coming out, then, the worst you're at right now in your early 30s is a 4.4, which is still pretty much one of the faster DBs in the league. So for a guy to be able to run like that is very rare. And, if he could keep taking care of his body, I see Eddie Davis type longevity. You're talking about 15, 16, 17-year career because, he has that type of twitch, and he can pick him up and put him down, as we used to say. And he's just one of those guys that can run, and you can't teach that.
When you are teaching or maybe reteaching a game, like, he assimilated himself, I thought, immediately to the Canadian Football League game. Is that just speak to his athleticism? Does that speak to the position that he plays? Like, how difficult of a transition is it from the NFL back to the CFL at that spot?
Well, I think it was kind of like a homecoming for him. I mean, this is the game. The Canadian football game is the game he grew up playing. Initially out of U of R, he came right into the CFL. So this is home for him. I think his athletic ability is what allowed him to go to the NFL and have success. Like I said, man, you don't find a lot of 4.3 guys who can run. And, the teams down south, they saw that. And that's why he stuck around for so long. And now that he's back home, as I like to say, you add that with a little bit of wisdom. Now he's an older guy. He's a vet. He has the experience. He's seen it all. So you match that athletic ability with his learning ability and his ability to pick up the game. Now you have one hell of a player.
Marcus Sales will also be back at corner because he signed a 2-year deal heading into this last offseason. So one of the things that Luke pointed out to me was so rare at least the start of the season, and really when both of them were healthy and on the field, was that they wouldn't flip strong side, weak side. How much versatility does that add to a defense? And is you as a quarterback not having to really see what side of the field they're going to be on, knowing that one or the other is going to be maybe where you're looking?
Yeah, I mean that's huge. I used to wonder why guys would flip flop and go against some of their strengths. Some guys are stronger at one side of the field than the other, and I think that with the rule changes and the hashes being brought closer together, it allows some of these DBs to kind of find a home, be comfortable on a side, pick a side, and you can get comfortable, and it makes it harder for these quarterbacks and receivers to kind of get a beat on what you're doing. So having two guys like Sales and Campbell at your corners, these are the staples of your defense. They're going to go against some of the tougher receivers, and you need two guys, two veteran guys at that. It's so good to have in that defensive secondary.
So when you look at the secondary, I guess if you're going to pick apart or dissect the Saskatchewan Roughriders secondary, having those two corners locked up, is that the biggest pieces that you needed to have, and then you can find your safety, then you can figure out what you're going to do at halfback?
Well, I think so. I mean, a lot of when you see the younger guys come in, they tend to have a little bit more success at the halfback position. They're a little more energetic. They have that type of foot speed that you need at that position. So that's where you see the younger guys transition a little bit easier. I kind of want to see CJ Rivas back playing safety. I think his transition to safety later on in the season last year was huge for the secondary. He's the signal caller back there. He was able to get guys in position, and I think that he was kind of at his natural position. That's not to say he's not a good dime back or halfback, but I think naturally his position is at safety, and he showed that last year.
If you're looking over your center and you see Jameer Thurman in the middle of the Saskatchewan Roughriders defense, what are you thinking?
He's a rock. He's a rock, man. It's going to be a long day. I used to hate to see those physical linebackers, guys who could stuff the run and be able to hop back in the pass, because then you knew that it was going to be a chess match, right? But if you know you're going against one of those lighter linebackers that has trouble stopping the run, then you kind of know that your running back is going to have a good day. That's not one of his strengths. But with Jameer, man, he can do it all. And like I said, he just takes care of his body, and there's no slowing down for him. So the huge addition for the Riders, getting him back in the fold. And now you have the leader of your defense back.
You said it, leader. There's no metrics to define leadership. But what does that mean? Because, again, to me, from the outside looking in, when Jameer says something or does something, it's like, okay, now follow me.
Absolutely. And he's one of those guys that leads by example. And I want to knock on a little bit of wood before I say this, and I hope I don't jinx anyone, but, he's always available. He plays each and every week. I think the guys see that it's a guy that's always there. And he's not just talking. He does exactly what he says. He takes care of his body. He's available each and every week. And most importantly, he goes out there and he produces. His production is not falling off, and he seems to be getting stronger. So if I'm a center looking across from him, I know it's going to be a long day, and I have to get my hard hat ready, because he can do it all.
Darian, as we're talking about leaders on a team and leadership, now obviously the recent announcement of the coaching staff did include a different position title under Joshua Bell's name, defensive coordinator. And we see head coach Corey Mace take a bit of a step back because he was holding both roles, in the 2025 season. What does that say, I guess, about the confidence that this organization has in Joshua Bell, and what do you see him bring to the table?
I think this is a great move for Coach Mace and Josh. I mean, Josh has paid his dues. I think, when you look at head coaches, one thing that's a telltale sign of how successful they are is the guys they bring up under them, right? I mean, you see with Dinwiddie and Coach Mace and different coaches around the league, they go and they find all these other jobs. You want a successful head coach that'll bring up guys, put them in coordinator positions, and then that allows them to kind of venture off and find a head coaching job and a home somewhere else. So, I mean, Coach Mace, he's not being selfish. He's showing that he's a guy that doesn't mind uplifting guys and putting them in positions to be successful. Look, you can't keep a coaching staff together forever, especially if you're successful. And Coach Mace shows that, he's not going to sit there and hold a guy back and keep him as a position coach. He's going to uplift him, put him at a coordinator position, and see if he can thrive in that position, because he knows that if he does that, then a head coaching job awaits him, down the line. So, man, this is just, I love to see this from Coach Mace, and I know that he'll continue to do this for his coaching staff.
So today at the winter meetings, Coach Mace, when asked about defensive coordinator Josh Bell, he said that the defense is going to have the same recipe, but there might be some different ingredients when it comes to Josh Bell running it. What does that exactly mean?
Well, I think for one, Coach Mace may be a little bit more conservative than Josh. I mean, Josh, even as a player and our battles going against each other, he was kind of a wild card, right? He loved to disguise. He loved to fly around, make plays, do different things of that nature. So, like Coach May said, I think the base will be there and the foundation will be there, but Josh will definitely bring some wrinkles. It'll be some experiments going on there, and for the good, of course, because I think he's a bright young defensive mind. But I think you'll see some exotic looks from this defense and some things you didn't see last year, and I think it'll be fun to see.
I'm not going to say Coach Mace is just going to go ahead and clear the table, right? Say, defense is all yours.
You won't see that. No. Coach Mace will definitely have his hand in the defensive game plan. He'll definitely get on that headset during the game, and if he sees some things he doesn't like going on down there, he'll buzz in for sure. So Coach Mace will have his hand in everything that defense does.
But that is that is natural, right? Like you would still have a hand in the game plan, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, I think so, especially when it's a first-year defensive coordinator, right? So you've brought him along over the past couple of years as a position. He now sees, a pattern of things, how you like to call plays, what you like to do in the fourth quarter, how do you call plays with a certain personnel on the field. So Josh is still learning the ins and outs and the things that Coach Mace had to learn under Ryan Dinwiddie. So I think that Coach Mace just promoting him is just giving him, first of all, that cosign that, okay, now you're the guy. Now I'm giving you a little bit more responsibility. And as time goes on, I think he'll give him more freedom and allow him to kind of do his thing. But at first, Coach Mace is going to be right there hands-on.
How do you know when it comes to the internal promotion? You talked about it. Coach Mace has talked about it. I trust Joshua Bell implicitly. If you look at the promotion of offensive coordinator in Winnipeg last year, it didn't go well. How, as a coach, do you know that it's going to go well? Or is it just you're putting your faith and your trust in what you see, I guess?
I think it's all about how you kind of raise your coaches. Coach Mace has brought Josh up over the past couple of years to put him in this position. I mean, Coach Mace had to make sure that he had the success as a defensive coordinator first, because he's the head coach too, right? He's playing dual roles. So he wanted to make sure that he did what he needed to do, which was win the Grey Cup, show that he could be and have the top defense in the league. Now, once you secure that, now you can start bringing some guys up, showing them the ropes. And, you can just tell over the years how close him and Josh have gotten. And, behind the scenes, I'm sure Josh is in there every single morning in meetings with Coach Mace, bringing ideas of what he wants to do with the DB. So I think you see over time a guy's work ethic behind the scenes, and then that lets you know one day if he'll be ready.
Now, from a player's perspective, promoting someone within on your coaching staff versus bringing in a brand new fresh face, what would be the benefit of that? I mean, continuity is kind of the word in this offseason for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So what are some of the benefits from your standpoint?
I mean, I think continuity is very important, and it's key in how things progress. But I think it's a learning curve. I think if you bring in a guy who knows the system, who you don't have to teach the system to, and as a player, he can now transfer that knowledge over to the players. It makes it so much easier. And not only that, if the players were teammates with this now position coach, now they take in everything in a different manner. And you respect the guy you play with more. And I hate to say it like this, but as players, you kind of respect guys who played the game a little bit more, especially if they were your teammate, right? So, you speak on Micah Johnson and his transition over to the coaching side of things. The entire D-line will respect him. He was still playing at a high level when he retired. He's a Grey Cup champion. He's a future Hall of Famer. So when guys see that, now you don't have to learn from a new coach, and it's easier when it comes to camp to just go out there and play.
I had an interesting conversation this year with Coach Bell, and it was very early on when the Riders were giving up about an average of 400 passing yards per game, right? And I was kind of looking for him to say, don't worry, everything is going to be all right. But he actually said, he goes, you know what? I'm talking with Marcus Sales. I'm talking with Tevaughn Campbell, whether it's at the facility, whether it's not at the facility, but they're also talking with me and we're sharing ideas. And he talked about that open flow. And is that a normal thing where a coach, I would assume that a coach it's my way or the highway, but is it normal to get that input?
Well, it's becoming a lot more normal now because now you see former players and guys who've played at a high level transition over to coaching. So they know, right? They've been in the game. They've been through tough times. They've been in situations where they've been last in the league in passing yards given up. So that a guy who's played, especially Josh Bell, nothing he hasn't been through, right? So he knows that it's a long season. Stay steady. Keep doing what you're doing. Things will turn over if you just, stay the course. And that's what's great about having a former player as your position coach.
So you say now, when you were playing, did you have input in game plan and coaching and that kind of thing? Or did it depend on the coordinator maybe?
Well, one, it depends on the coordinator. Two, it depends on, your the length of time you've been in the league and your understanding of the league. Early on with Coach Lapo and Coach Miller, I didn't have a lot of freedom, but they also allowed me to come in meetings and give my input on things that I liked. But as time progressed and I got under Coach Cortez, I was more of a vet. I was in my early 30s. I had a lot more freedom at that time. So it really just depends on where you are in your career as a quarterback, who your coach is, and if they have the trust and faith in you to be able to change things up and, be able to do more so of what you're comfortable with more so than them.
CFL winter meetings are on there talking about rules and the changes that are going on. The one that is being talked about perhaps the most is the difference in the play clock and the 35 seconds now from end of one play to the start of the next. In your head, how much of a cadence would you get into when it was 20 seconds, for example, or how often are you even looking at that play clock countdown? As again, that's getting a lot of attention right now.
Well, the 20-second play clock goes fast, I tell you that. And, it's always something you have to keep in the back of your mind, or in the front of your mind, let me say that, because, it happens so fast. But now I think that with the 35-second clock starting after the end of each play, now you can get your substitutions in quickly. You can go ahead and talk to Nader. You have extra time to communicate to the sidelines about the things that they're looking for and how you want to execute the next play. So I kind of like the idea, honestly. I think that you don't have to rush. You can get in the huddle. You can talk to guys. You can make sure that you communicate as much as possible. Now, with that being said, these diva wide receivers and all the celebrating after first downs and, all the hand gestures and all these things. Now, guys are going to have to get back to the huddle so we can get the next play going because there's not much time for celebration.
So I do just...
I have this feeling that Chris Getzlaff is calling us right now.
It's okay. The light doesn't work on the phone in here right now. It's fine. Just going back to the winter meetings, there was a question that came up regarding receivers and the roster that they're shaping in this offseason. Now, Dante Myers, what a story. What an incredible story for him now pursuing an NFL opportunity with the Cincinnati Bengals. And I guess I'm just curious, what do you think the Bengals saw in Dante Myers that made him stand out from the rest? What makes him so special?
Just a playmaker, man. He's smooth. I think, in order to be a successful receiver in the NFL, you have to be smooth. You have to be a quick twitch guy, and you have to be a route runner. And I think he's all of those things. He had immediate success in the CFL. He was able to pick up a system and go out there and perform and perform at full speed. A lot of guys come in and they can't perform at a high level because they're thinking too much, right? They're thinking about the playbook if they're going to be in the right spot. But he showed that he's a smart receiver. He's intelligent. He knows where the holes are in zones, and he knows how to get open against man coverage. So he pretty much has everything you would want. I'm not too sure, if his size will be a problem. I don't know. I mean, we'll see how that goes for him. But other than that, man, he's a playmaker. He's a smooth receiver. And, I think he'll go down there and have some success especially against Cincinnati. They don't have the best DBs in camp, so should have some success.
I just don't want him to get hurt there, okay, Darian?
No, don't think like that. I mean, he'll be fine. Look, he'll be fine. I'm sure this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for him, and he'll definitely prepare his body for this.
obviously it's a job, right? It's a career, it's a profession. Obviously dollars and cents go into making that decision. What other things would him and his representation have considered when signing with Cincinnati over whatever other offer might have been out there?
Well, I'm sure he's looking at the depth behind, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, which is pretty much none. I mean, I don't know if they have a solid number 3 receiver. Dante's a slot guy. He's used to playing in the slot, especially in the CFL. He knows about space. It just seems like a good opportunity for him. Like I said, who else does Cincinnati have on their roster for him to really compete with? He has a great opportunity to go in there and early on and get some reps with the second and third team. And, should be a good opportunity for him.
Okay, so last week, Darian, the CFL Players Association came out with the 2025 report card. Now, this is only the second year that they've done this, right? So it's still pretty new. It's still pretty fresh. Now, we did see some teams pick up the slack a little bit. I'm looking at you, Edmonton. But the Riders overall fared decently well. Like, they got a B+ on this. But when you look at these report cards, they grade everything from therapy and medical staff, facilities, family treatment, strength and conditioning, nutrition, travel, training camp, football ops. What do you think the most important grade is on this report card that we should be looking at?
Oh, wow. I mean, I would think, facilities, I guess I'm coming from old Mosaic, so wasn't really spoiled in that area. Yeah, let me look at this. I think one is football operations. You definitely want to be with a stat and, a GM, an assistant GM that has interest in mind, not guys who will cut you right before you go out to the field for practice or let you wake up. And, you don't want to be with the front office like that. And then I would look at fan base. I mean, you don't want to play in front of an empty stadium. You want to make sure the fans can have an impact on the game. So I guess the top 2 for me would be the front office and the fan base. And then if you can get those 2 in line, then once you get the players around you, then, it seems like those are that's the foundation to having a good organization.
Looking at their overall grades, again, B+ overall. The lowest grade the Riders had was a C, and that was treatment of families. Back in the day, did you guys have like a little waiting room for, the family members and friends to converge in? What was that like at Taylor Field?
No, that was pretty much non-existent. I mean, of course, your family and your kids, wife and kids were able to come down to the field. But as far as having a waiting area for them and, some food and drinks waiting, it was none of that. So, maybe that's something, J.O. and the staff and Craig can look at that and see that may be an area that they can upgrade. But other than that, I mean, the Rider organization is just top notch. And, if all you have to upgrade is a little bit of family interaction and things like that, then, you don't have much to do.
And look, I'm not trying to throw management under the bus here, but if you think back to your playing days, is there anything that would have warranted something lower than a C on a report card? Based on that list, anything that stands out?
You have facilities, right? You have, strength and conditioning facilities. And I mean, that's the main thing. We all know that, with that stadium, how challenged it was. And, now it's just state of the art, right? They have cold and hot tubs inside the training room and all this good stuff. So, I mean, look, that's what happens, as you win and you improve, and over time you get new facilities. So, I'm just happy I could be a part of the progression in order to get over to the new Mosaic Stadium.
NFL Wildcard Weekend wraps up tonight. I read something this weekend, and it was from a statistical look back at warm weather / cold weather teams. I know you've said, Darian, on record that you don't mind playing in the cold, but this finding was that cold weather teams had an automatic 4-point advantage when hosting a warm weather team, air quotes, in the playoffs. Agree or disagree that it's 4 points?
I agree. I mean, if you're coming from the South where it's warm all the time, you're practicing outside and it's warm, and then you have to go to where it's, below 0, it's freezing, it's windy. I mean, you're just not ready for that. Your body's not ready for that. There's nothing you can do in a day or two to get acclimated to that type of weather. I enjoyed being in the cold because I got adjusted to it. We practice in it every day. It's something that you got used to. But And when you look at tonight or, the Miami Dolphins, the history of them going up and winning playoff games in the cold, they've probably won none in my lifetime. But, and speaking about tonight with Houston doing the same thing, I mean, it's just tough. It's tough, man. So like I said, 2 days is not enough time to get your body acclimated to cold weather. And I think that's why that 4-point spread is there.
Okay, so I predicted what you would pick earlier. Who are you taking tonight? The Texans or the Steelers?
I'm going with old man Rodgers.
I knew it.
Yes, I am.
I knew it.
I still think he's got a little bit left in the tank, man. And I'm all for us old guys with a little bit of grays getting out there trying to get it done. So let's go Steelers.
Okay, so here was another question that Dave actually tossed out to me earlier. Do you think this is potentially it for Aaron Rodgers this season?
I don't know. I think it depends on how this game ends tonight. If they win and they can make a nice run in the playoffs, being that they don't have a backup, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, it's such a first-class organization. They can talk him into coming back and mentoring a young guy. I think that can happen if they have some success in the playoffs. So I really think we'll see. Now, if he goes out there tonight against Houston, who has the number one defense, and he gets beat up, you see the nosebleed again and all these other things that happened to him this season, and he takes some big shots, then I think he'll hang it up. So we'll see how it goes.
See, I remember somebody saying that Houston had the number one defense on paper. Do you still think that? Or are there better defenses out there? But
I don't know, man. You know what? I'm just not convinced about the AFC South, right? I mean, you saw what happened to Jacksonville. Indianapolis broke down at the end of the season and couldn't even make the playoffs after starting 8-2, I think. And then Tennessee was just garbage all season. So I don't know, how impressive this number one defensive stat is when your division is not that strong, in my opinion. So, this will be. I'll get a great look at them tonight. I'll be able to break them down and see who they really are. And then maybe next week I can have a better answer for you.
Any other games in the Wildcard Weekend that stood out to you? Is there one game that really stands out above the rest? I mean, my pick was Packers-Bears. I thought that was great. Yeah. What do you think?
If I had to choose one, it would definitely be Packers-Bears. And the fourth quarter comeback by Caleb Williams and the Bears, and Ben Johnson being my old teammate. Of course, I support the Bears 100%. But I'm just impressed by what Buffalo did in Jacksonville. I mean, Josh Allen showed that no matter how much time is on the clock, you still have a chance to win as long as he's your guy. And to go down there now, that was a northern team going to the south. And changing climate and getting it done, which is not easy as well. So I'm very impressed by Buffalo as well as Chicago.
Being a staunch Cowboys supporter like you, I was very much happy that the Philadelphia Eagles continued to show that they forget how to play football in the second half. But why the heck are they forgetting how to play football in the second half?
You know what, man? I just think it's coaching, honestly. I think you can just see the creativity that comes with San Francisco and Kyle Shanahan, knowing how to get Christian McCaffrey to the ball in different positions and using his his talents to their advantage. And then you look at Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown and these guys. Philadelphia has just as much talent, but they just seem so vanilla offensively. So I just think it's a big difference in coaching and schematically how Kyle Shanahan is just drawing up things to get his guys open while Philadelphia is just vanilla. So I think that's the biggest difference.
I remember for years, the criticism used to be, they don't make any second half adjustments. How many second half adjustments can you make, or was there a lack of that in the Philadelphia Eagles this season?
Yeah, it's just a lack of it, man. Lack of adjustments, a lack of creativity, and then there are some disgruntled players in that locker room. So you combine all of those things together, it's a recipe for a first-round exit, and that's exactly what you saw.
So tell me A.J. Brown without saying A.J. Brown.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't say it. You did.
Yeah.
And we're both heartbroken because of it. We can see.
Yeah, exactly.
No, there's definitely a lot of creativity when it comes to the San Francisco 49ers. Dave and I were actually just talking about that beauty trick play where Jennings threw the ball to McCaffrey in the end zone. That, whew.
Yep. Yeah, that just shows you. I mean, that's coaching. I mean, you find aggressive defenses, you find different ways to get your guys the ball. I mean, you can't tell me that Saquon Barkley doesn't have the type of talent that Christian McCaffrey has. It's just that Kyle Shanahan knows how to get his guys the ball and put them in space and make sure that he's the focal point of the offense. So it's all about coaching.
Okay, Darian Durant question. Obviously, you practice trick plays, and I don't know what percentage you'd ever get to use, but was there ever a trick play that you wished could have just been called once that you thought would have blown everybody's doors off?
Oh, my gosh.
It's a good one.
You know what? There was a trick play that was called, and that Weston Dressler, it was like a reverse pass where the quarterback kind of goes out the other side of the field. And all I told Weston all week was just give me a chance. Just give me a chance, even if I'm covered. Give me a chance. We were in Edmonton and Commonwealth, and George Cortez called the reverse pass, and Weston threw it up to me. I was covered a little bit. He gave me a chance, and I was just so unathletic at the time. I couldn't jump. I couldn't get off the ground. Ball just went so far over my head, and I thought it was a great throw. So I'm more disappointed in him calling the play and giving me an opportunity and me not being able to make a play more so than, not calling it at all. So I'm just mad. I didn't make it happen, and I'll never forget that. Never.
Way to bring it up, Dave.
Well, I was going to, in practice, how many times did you connect?
Every time. But that's just how it is, man. In practice, it's easy, right? And then you get in the game, something always goes wrong.
Well, Darian, I think we probably got to let you go here. We're running a bit short on time, but as always, we really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us every Monday here. So we're going to have to see what happens tonight and next weekend and talk some more football next week.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.